Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group. What I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. So we'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and this is the Altitude X trim. So there's about 8 different trim levels, so it can get a little confusing depending on which one you're looking for. If you're looking to save a little bit of dough or go all the way and get all the equipment, there's probably a Grand Cherokee L that works for you. Now, what's the big difference between the regular Grand Cherokee and the L? This one adds the third row. So it's going to be a little bit more spacious for you there if you got the larger family, but for the most part, from 24 to 25, they didn't make a ton of changes. They kind of quietly dropped away from the Hemi V8, and they're all going to come with the V6 no matter which Grand Cherokee L you're looking at. But for now, we'll put it in drive and touch on a little bit more of that when we're on the road. So this is going to be a 290 horsepower V6, and that's going to be paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, if you're looking at towing specs, no matter which one you're looking at, they're going to tow around 6,200 pounds, which is pretty nice. You got the large boat, maybe you got an enclosed trailer you're lugging around. This can definitely get that done for you. Now, like I said, the big difference between the regular Grand Cherokee and the L would be the third row, but there is a few different configurations. You can get the bench seat in the back, or you can do the captain's chairs like we have in this Altitude X, but no matter what, you're gonna get the 2 seats in the third row. I did notice that I can actually fit back there. I was surprised, because sometimes with these third row SUVs, you never really know how much room you're gonna get in the back. It's not like getting a Suburban XL with a ton of space, but for what it is in this platform, you could easily put the kids back there, or passengers for a shorter ride at about my height, and I think they'd be just fine. Now, let's start with the exterior. So this is the velvet red pearl coat on this particular one, and it does look really good, especially when the sun hits it just right. It's kind of got a metallic flake and that pearl to it. It looks awesome. This one also gets the blacked out 18-inch wheels, which do look pretty good, and that's going to be part of that Altitude X package. So, like I said, the base model, if you're just looking for kind of standard equipment, you can either do a rear-wheel drive, or you can do the 4x4, or there's also an air suspension you can even add into these vehicles. If you're looking for a little bit more luxury, that is pretty cool as well. So if you're looking for a little bit more hardcore off-roading, you might want to go back down to the Grand Cherokee and not the L, because there isn't just a full-blown trail version like you would find in that model. But for the most part, I think people are just going to stay on the road with these luxury off-roading. I mean, it's possible, but more or less, maybe you're heading to the campsite or over to the cabin. The towing capacity gets you with the boat there, and if you're going to run down a gravel road or maybe a little bit of winter driving, this can certainly help you out there. Now today it's only about 6 degrees, so what's cool on this model, you can fire it up with the remote start, and we'll remember that I want the heated seats and the heated steering wheel on, which is great for these Minnesota winters. Now, hopping into the driver's seat, there's a ton of really cool equipment here. Things like that heated steering wheel and seats for the driver and the passenger. And then as you work your way through the different trim levels, you can add a ton of different equipment to the driver's seat as well as to that second row. But for the most part, it's still really comfortable in here. I think this would easily be a daily driver. No matter if you're looking at the base or the fully loaded model, there's a ton of safety built into these now standard. Things like blind spot monitoring, emergency braking, and you also get the adaptive cruise control system standard, which is really convenient. That paired with the lane departure warning system, it just makes it really easy to eat up a bunch of miles. Like I said, if you're running to the cabin, running around town even, I mean, that is such a convenient feature to have. And that added safety and benefit of knowing if you and your family are in the vehicle, you're gonna wanna make sure you're safe, and the Jeep definitely delivers on that front. Now, what else is pretty cool in here is the fully digital gauge cluster. So there's a little button you can click, and when you press that, there's 5 different little menus. You can easily and quickly scroll through those. There's a ton of information in here. Anywhere from some of that safety stuff to your radio settings to pretty much everything else with your trip computer like you'd expect. That makes it really easy and just adds that added touch of luxury in there. Plus, it's fully programmable, so you can kind of move things, what you want to see, what you're looking at. That's pretty sweet. Like I said, on the steering wheel here, that adaptive cruise control on the right side, that makes it really easy to set that. And then if you don't want all that safety stuff, there's buttons up here you can click to turn off that lane departure warning. Now there's going to be 2 different infotainment screens depending on which trim level you're looking at. This one's going to be a little bit smaller of a screen, but we've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in here. I paired my phone up, took about a minute, and now I've got text messaging, Google Maps, all that built right into here. I'm not messing with my phone when I'm on the go, and I have wireless charging, so I pretty much just put my phone down there. There's a little cubby you can close down so you're not messing with it. That makes it really nice. And there's 2 USB and 2 USB-C ports in there, which is very convenient for driver and passenger. Then you do have heated seat controls and climate control built into the infotainment screen, or there's still physical buttons on here. So I still like that it gives you the choice for that. That makes it really easy and a lot less confusing. Now, what about the second row? So they also have a different climate zone back there, and they're gonna have USB-C and USB charging, and you're also gonna get that in the third row. Not to mention there's also vents kind of behind you on the side here and into the third row, so everybody can keep cool or stay warm when it's like a day like today. But in the third row, you got cup holders back there. There's even a little kind of cutout so you get headspace in the back, which is also pretty convenient. So as the kids start to grow, the family, you can pile them in and they're still gonna have room in that third row. Now in the second row, those seats can fold. You just pull the handle, kicks and slides forward, but it kind of kicks the seat up at the same time. So that does give you quite a bit of extra space to crawl in and out of the vehicle, or you can sneak right through the middle if you've got the captain's chairs like this particular one has. You can also fold the seats down. So that third row, it's really easy to pull the handles to fold them down, or you can just grab the little like kind of strap in the back there and pull them right back up. So that, if you're hauling stuff around, does make it pretty convenient and gives you a pretty large cargo area back there. Then the second row, also you can kick those seats down, which is pretty convenient there as well. So what about the ride and drive? Now, like I said, it's 9 degrees here on the temperature, so it's freezing cold today, but the Jeep, it's quiet, it's comfortable. I wouldn't be afraid at all if it started snowing. That Jeep kind of legendary 4x4 system helps you out. Like I said, there is a standard rear wheel drive model, but if you're living up here in the Midwest like we are, 4-wheel drive system is definitely the way I would go. You only sacrifice about 1 mpg on the highway for the fuel economy, so this one's gonna be rated at about mid-20s, and if you can keep your foot out of it, I expect you'd be able to see that fuel economy all day long on the highway, which is pretty nice. But overall, the ride and drive, like I said, it's quiet, comfortable, easy. You hop in, push button start, and it works. The steering wheel is a very beautiful layout. I love the design of it. It's comfortable in your hands. There is also paddle shifters on here if you do feel like getting a little bit sporty. But I mean, for the most part, you figure 95% of the time you're just cruising around town, whether you're running back and forth to work, picking up the kids, heading to the gym or the grocery store. This vehicle just seems like something that can kind of do it all. You can load up the back if you need to. It's easy to park still. It's not like one of those huge third row SUVs that it's hard to see what's going on. But the backup camera in here is pretty awesome, and there also is rear parking sensors on the Altitude X, so that does make it pretty easy to park as well. But I couldn't believe how responsive the screen was. Some of the new infotainment screens aren't as good as the Uconnect system. It's gotta be one of my favorites out right now. It just works, and the backup camera is very clear. It doesn't feel like a camera from 2006. It feels very good and easy to see what's going on. But what else is cool, you can actually just swipe the screen down. So if I'm on the home screen here, I can swipe down and you can pull up the camera. I mean, I'm going 35 miles an hour and I can still see out behind me. And there's also that trailer view. So that drops a straight down view, which does also make it pretty easy to hook up the boat or anything else. So I think overall, I love the heated seats. I love the infotainment screen. Like I said, this one also gets the sunroof up above, and you can add a ton of different equipment into these, whether it's that air suspension, maybe you want the upgraded Macintosh sound system. There's so many options to get exactly what you want. And MSRP wise, if we're looking at price, this one comes in just a little bit over $49,500. So with the average new car price around 48 grand, so this is still getting you third row, the 4x4 wireless Apple CarPlay. I mean, all these seats are so comfortable as well. I love that it's kind of got the mesh insert with that leather on the side. It looks nice. I've seen them over time. It does wear very nice as well. So I think there's a lot to like here. So if you're shopping for a third row, maybe you're looking at Hyundai, Kia, Toyota, or Honda, I think these compete with those, and maybe even some of the German SUVs like Audi and BMW. It does have a luxury feel on the interior. The ride and drive is also very much more to me like a German SUV. So I think there's a lot to like here. I think it's worth getting out, taking for a spin, seeing what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. If you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.